Hi everyone, this will be my first few spreads for 2020, a travel journal for when I went to St. Petersburg, Russia before 2019 ended. I booked the ticket at the last minute. It was 2 days before the 25th of December. Applying for an e-visa was easy and fast, and their online form just had some instructions that were a bit confusing, but I managed to change the details at the last minute. And the consulate, who was very efficient in replying to questions, have now also changed the instructions of their website to make it less confusing for those applying for the first time. We stayed at Catherine Art Hotel. It was a quiet hotel at the center of St. Petersburg, near the Nevsky Prospect metro station, and it is just a block away from the Singer Building and the Church of the Savior on Spilled Blood. And it was also a short walk to the Palace Square, although we mostly took the bus or the metro as it was freezing cold outside. We bought the 5-day pass that you can use for all their public transportation. This does not include the K buses, as these are privately owned buses. Having the pass was very convenient, as you can just tap the card every time you drive the metro, bus, and or the trolley bus. You can also download the Yandex app as well if in case you need a taxi, because I've heard that some would overcharge you if you just hail a cab on the street. So a Yandex app would be helpful or would be a lifesaver when it was too cold to wait for a bus or too long to take the metro. I mostly bought my St. Petersburg stationaries from Domnigi bookshop. You can watch my previous video for the haul. I'll put the link somewhere on the screen. We bought our museum tickets on the day, as it was not the peak season and there was mostly no queue for the ticket lights. Most Russians don't speak English, so it is better if you have Wi-Fi with you for directions. Restaurants would have English-speaking staff as well, but you'd have to wait a little bit, because if you happen to speak to someone who doesn't know how to speak English, they would just suddenly leave you, which may look rude, but really he or she is just calling for someone who can speak and understand English to assist you. People were kind enough to give you their seats so you and your friend can sit together on a bus, or they'd help you on when you need to get off the bus. Although it was just an hour difference from Dubai, adjusting to only 4 hours of daylight without sunlight is quite an adjustment. It gets pitch black at only 4 in the afternoon, which can be tiring. Although you've had enough sleep, you still feel tired because there's no sunlight. Did not plan to go inside the Hermitage Museum, but it was a bleak, cold afternoon that day, so we decided to go in and managed to see the peacock clock and the prodigal son painting, among the other ostentatiously grand treasures and architecture. You can stare in awe the entire day if you have an entire day to roam the Hermitage, which I think is still not enough. I was checking the weather forecast, specifically the snow forecast, every single day we were there, as I wanted to experience falling snow. I've seen snow, but not falling snow. I was so happy when it finally happened early morning on our last day. The light's reflection on the snow make it a welcome relief from the almost dark days and pitch black nights that we were there. It was so surreal to see the change from before snowfall, before I went to bed, to waking up early morning where the streets and courtyards were covered with white ice. Despite the magic that snow brings, I still miss the sun. I recently just watched this video where she was so excited to see the sun again after months of non-stop snow. And now I know the feeling, but not as quiet, as it was just days for me, and yet I was already craving for the sun. And I'm not really a sun or summer person. Snow is still magical though, despite the freezing cold. I still love the cold weather. It's also amazing how people have adapted to the coldness of the place, as it can be very cold outside. But when you go inside, it gets warm easily, so you'd have to remove all your layers. And that was my least favorite part, as I get warm so fast. But the people who live there makes it look so simple and effortless. The trip was a good break before the new year starts. Travel awakens all your senses, being in a new place with people who finds it difficult to converse in English. There were mostly only Russian signages and instructions, and it was the first time that I visited a place where the sun rises at 11 a.m. and sets at 3 p.m. and you don't even see the sun, just a gray wash of light. But falling snow was another kind of experience, even if it just lasted for several hours. The people I've met were kind. Some might give you a longer glance, as I think it's still somewhat new for them to see Asians traveling not in a tour group. These are just some of the photos from the trip. Of course, I included the ones where it was snowing, and this one with a cloud is in St. Anne Lutheran Church. And this was from the metro tour. Most people would know that there will be tourists in metro stations, so I don't think they really mind that you're taking photos and then you're just staying there for several minutes. And of course, I have this self-portrait with snow on my hair. The upper right was taken at Catherine Palace, and lower right was at the Hermitage and Peterhof. I love all the colors of their palaces. Most of them are pastel, blue, yellow, and green, especially at Catherine's Palace. A cat was sleeping on the couch here, so we can sit on the couch to take a photo. This photo was taken at 3 a.m. in the morning, just outside the hotel in the courtyard. Their metro stations were so deep underground, and almost all of the stops were a museum in itself.
Keep
Here I've listed down all the places that we visited every day. So on the 26th, mostly it was just cafes, and we went to Uniqlo to buy additional heat tech. Second day was for Peterhof, and we dropped by a Starbucks in the mall because we needed to use the WC. And then we went to the Winter Palace and the Hermitage Museum. And on the 28th, we had the metro tour. And we went to New Holland Island. We went to Kazan Cathedral and Domniki again because it was just near our hotel. And on the 29th was the Catherine Palace Park. And we went to St. Isaac's Colonnade. On the 30th would be, we went back to the Palace Square just to see if there was still snow left on the ground, but St. Petersburg was very fast in clearing out all the snow on the ground, so we didn't get to see a snow-covered Hermitage. I will write a more detailed post on my website. It's flinnerthoughts.com, but I haven't really started writing it, but I would write down a more detailed account or documentation on what we did in St. Petersburg. This is a list of the metro station stops that we went to and took photos of.
You're up in the sky, I'll carry you home, home to the mountaineers. And soon, my friend, you'll see them again, the ones you left behind, the ones you left behind. And I'll sing for you all the way home.
So here is a final flip through of the journal spreads for my trip in St. Petersburg, Russia.
But why does it feel like home isn't home? I've been in this war too long. It's in the air that I breathe, oh, it's in the trees. It shivers down my spine. It shivers down my spine. I just sing my song as I walk through the gate. And there she stands just like before, but she doesn't look the same. The fear in her eyes, I've seen it before, and she can't recall my name. No, she can't recall my name. And so I sing to her as I fall on. shimmering light as I hit the ground. A lover had a gun. Now it's you that I see, home of the brave. Oh, how you bother me. Oh, the things you let me see. But still I sing for you, my last song.
I hope you enjoyed watching this Journal with Me travel series for St. Petersburg, and I would be uploading another St. Petersburg travel video, and this time it would be clips from the travel itself. I hope you watch that. I will be uploading that on Wednesday this week. Let me know on the comments below if you've traveled during the Christmas and New Year holiday, and where was it, and what was your memorable experiences during your travels.